So the following conversation is between me, Jesse McCarthy with MontessoriEducation.com, and Simone Davies of the MontessoriNotebook.com. Simone and I sat down one Saturday morning over Skype and just asked each other a few challenging questions around teaching and parenting, what we thought of as kind of gray areas in Montessori. Now, in this fifth and actually final clip, we talk about what each of us sees as important traits and kind of characteristics in great teachers and parents.
What characteristics would you value in a Montessori educator or a Montessori parent?
Yeah. I like how Simone just asked me the question when I was trying to ask her the question. I like that.
Okay, put you on the spot, Jesse, when you want to say that.
So, you know what's wild? I like talking with you because I am excited to hear your response. So I'm going to give you mine, but as I'm giving you mine, I'm thinking to myself, I'm really pumped to hear what Simone's going to say about this. So this is a challenging one. So I think it's important that you really enjoy being around children, because this profession is you're around children all the time. So if you don't like children, clearly you're done. And then it's, what age group do you really enjoy? Because I know, Simone, you're working with toddlers. I love toddlers. It's so fun to be around them, but man, I would never, ever, ever, and Simone's looking at me like, let me say one more, never, ever be around toddlers all the time. So you have to really know what your values are, what you enjoy. So experiment with it. Don't get sucked into, well, I was trained 3 to 6, so now I'm a primary teacher for my life. Like, experience the other ages, see what you like. So I think an enjoyment around children, and specifically the age that you would be around, is just huge. Also, what makes for an awesome Montessori educator is a general love of life. Like, you actually enjoy living in this world. Like, it's a fun experience you're excited with continuous learning as an adult. So not just, you're teaching children and you're this teacher, but you are a student throughout your whole life. That's what I've seen in great educators. I have never met an amazing Montessori educator, or just an educator generally, who doesn't have a genuine, like, I really love living. It's a fun time. and I like that I keep learning stuff. Yeah, I just haven't met somebody who's like, kind of more miserable or just complaining about life. There's some sense of positivity, So the love of life, enjoyment, pure joy of being around with children. And then just a practical thing, I think, and I'm very curious your take on this, and this actually comes back to the dog whisperer with Cesar Millan, because he has this word, but to be calm and assertive. So he calls it calm assertiveness, but you're a calm, peaceful individual, but you're also you're assertive. So when and I can only imagine in the toddler environments, you have to be assertive at times. So this kind of calm assertiveness, I think I've seen in the best teachers I've experienced, are just genuinely warm and caring and calm individuals. But boy, when they mean business, they mean business. They're assertive. So anyways, I think those are some of the things that I think of. So Simone.
Well, interestingly, all of those 4 were on my list in different ways. So when
wow.
you said joy, I said fun, like that you just enjoy hanging out with kids. Like I said, the day that I turn up in my Montessori classroom and I'm not having fun, I'm just not going to become a grumpy Montessori teacher. I just don't think those 2 words belong together. So, and I have seen Montessori teachers who stay too long, or they're not getting rested, or the joy's gone for whatever reason. And maybe it can come back, but I don't want to be that Montessori teacher. The love of life is what I kind of see as curiosity. It's like, how can we be curious about the world? And I was just saying, like, I've been working in the Montessori classroom for 15 years, but every day I learn something new. So I'm also totally open to learning from the people in front of me, from the world around me. So yeah, definitely curiosity. Being kind and clear is what I call the calm assertiveness. So it's how you set a limit with kindness and firmness, like, and you really wanted to do that. And I also need to keep my body safe. So doing it in a kind way. For me, a couple of other things that came to mind was respect. I think it's really important that the teacher shows respect for the child. They're not top-down learning. They're really like seeing this child as an equal, and like, you have your needs and I have my needs, and how can we all have our needs met? I think that seeing other people's perspective and that respect is really important for me. And I think it's something that takes a lot of practice, and I feel like we're just all still learning. I feel like a beginner on it, and I
Yes,
get it wrong, and I have opportunities to apologize. Oh, I'm really sorry. I really thought that I was being clear, but actually I was being too aggressive in that moment. When I really ended up like, I thought I was kindly picking up a child and putting them somewhere safe, but actually my hands weren't as soft as I really wanted to be. So I think that those kind of things all came up for me. That's really the only extra one I had, was that respect. And seeing the other child's perspective. And I guess for a parent, like these characteristics, I challenge you to seek those out as on your parenting journey. How can you move from feeling a bit grumpy and tired to, oh, how can I be curious about the world around me? And how can I find joy in this moment instead of, oh my gosh, it's 5 o'clock in the morning and my child wants me out of bed. Probably how I can set kind and clear limits, as opposed to being very laissez-faire and then snapping because you've let the situation go too far. So I think that they're not fixed characteristics. I think they're all things that we can learn and keep adding to our toolbox and bring back joy to the classroom and to our homes.
And to the home. Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, because we did just throw out some pretty, idealistic, lovely things. And whether you're a teacher or a parent, there are those moments where it's just like, so I think these are the things that we're constantly stretching for and doing in our lives. But even what you raised as a concrete example is that you're apologizing. Like after you've got your website, you've been doing this for years, you've got your program, but you find that sometimes you have to apologize to a child because you did something that wasn't really fitting or respectful. And I've been in this for over 15 years. Same thing. It's amazing. And don't you now, like before, I think it would give me a little bit of stress. Like, oh, now it's like, it's so immediate. It's like, oh man, I messed up. I got to go say sorry to that guy. It's not a big issue. And they do, as you were saying, kind of, it's this mutual respect. So when you show that, man, how much more respect they give you, they're like, did he just apologize to me? It's just this feeling of like this warmth almost, and it's that it comes from the respect. I think you're right. So I think I would add respect as well. So
cool.